Well, hi guys and girls, Em again, welcome back to the spare room. This is an update, but probably not as you would want. So if you really got any emotional attachment to this engine, please switch off now. No, it's not really like that. This is my Princess Marina 260 Stania Mogul chassis. I haven't built this. I've spent a fair bit of time getting it going and getting it running nice. And it does run pretty sweet. There are small projects that I could do on it and several small projects that I have done on it since I've owned it. However, it needs a boiler. And it also needs to be carried around to a jolly track, which is a bit of an issue. It's fairly big, as you can see. It's a fair lump of engineering, really. I don't know at this stage what I'm going to do with it, right? The theory going forward is that I would really like to get it up and running. However, it's a big engine to carry around. By the time there's this engine plus the tender, and we're looking at probably $3,000 Australian to finish it. It's sort of where we are. And it's been sitting in the corner for a couple of years nearly. 12 months, I think, since I had it out and running. The reason that making a boiler for this is so complicated is that I have to join a club, and then I have to get it all passed and approved as I go. And the nearest club that has a track this size is about 4 or 5 hours away on the north side of Brisbane. So carting this up and down every couple of weekends as our boiler progresses, on top of the couple of $1,000s we're going to need for copper, plus the rest of the castings for the tender, plus boiler fittings, plus a couple of 1,000 hours, which realistically is probably what it's going to need, this becomes a pretty crazy big project, right? It's not hurting anything sitting here, and I could put it away again with the sheet over it again, and no one's probably going to notice or remember or anything for another 12 months. But I do get reminded occasionally that I have this engine there. So here's what I'd like to do. If anyone locally wants a 3.5 inch gauge chassis and has a 2.5 or a gauge 1 or an O gauge chassis or part finished locomotive that they would like to swap with whatever adjustment either way it needs, please get in touch, right? This is a pretty nice engine. It's fairly well made. It was made by an English gentleman here in Australia. They're Kenyans. I believe they're probably Bonds of Euston Road casting, so they're years old, and he got it up to this stage. I bought it with the intention of getting it a bit further, and I pulled it down and I've got everything quartered and set up and running, and it runs nicely both ways. If we put the air hose on it, it's all going fairly nice. I know you can't hear me with that up, so I'm going to take that off. But this isn't a bad little chassis. It's going to need a little bit of work going forward. There are things that it does need, right? I've squared the frames up quite considerably because they were out. It's obviously either been dropped or made like that or something like that. All these rods and things could do with a clean up and probably even fluting or whatever when you want to do them. Some of them are. These con rods are fluted. If we have a look over here at the side of the loco. Let's take this off and go handheld here. These rods are fluted. Everything is fairly nicely made here all the way through. And potentially it's probably a really nice engine. However, it's pretty heavy. This is all I can do to lift this part of it. And when I get a boiler on it and a tender and cab work and plate work and running boards and pumps and fittings and all those sort of things, it's going to be probably triple this weight. So it's a pretty solid bit of gear to be carting around the country. I haven't outruled completely that I'm going to finish it, and that's not a decision I'm going to make probably even anytime soon. But if someone comes up with a nicer project, something I can finish, then I'd be interested in negotiating some sort of a trade, because to be honest, this is it's a seriously big project for me to finish at this point. And I've pulled it apart and put it back together, and I've learned a lot, and I've got it running pretty nice, I think. And I think on a track it would run fairly nice, but it does need a boiler, and that's where the dollars come in. I guess the other thing is, if someone's got a certified boiler that they're willing to drop me for a reasonable cost, then that might be an easy way to do it as well, but I'm not sure about that. So anyway, there's an update on Princess Marina and what's actually happening here. I got it out of the off the shelf today to give it a bit of a run, because I thought it needed it, and a bit of oil up, and I do that periodically. But I think that this poor old girl really needs to be finished, and I'm not sure if I'm the person to do it or not. My opinion on that might change by tomorrow. It has done several times. But anyone who's watching this wants to swap it out for, say, a O-gauge casting kit or something like that, or a 2.5 inch gauge casting kit, or a half completed 2.5 inch gauge chassis that'll have more chance of getting finished and carrying around, I'm pretty much probably going to be down for that. So that's our update. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Be kind to each other, guys. Don't steal all, don't take all the toilet paper, and there'll be some more updates on other projects soon.